Hi, this is section 1.5, Discrete Math, Weighted Voting and Voting Power. So what we want to look at is a situation where a certain group might carry more votes than another group. So this happens quite often when they talk about ownership of a company. People own shares of the company, and each share, they get a vote. So if you own 1 billion shares, that would mean that you'd get a lot more votes than just my 40 shares that I might own of a company. That's extreme, but that's kind of how it works. So if I look at weighted voting, first of all, the first definition, some members of the voting body have more votes than others. And so that's a situation like I just explained. Winning coalitions then would be that if that billion those billion stocks or those billion shares of stocks, if that person owns the majority of the stock, well, then whatever they say is going to kind of go. So then I would actually be what I call a dummy, and they would be a dictator. So, oh, there's a dictator. They are a member of the voting party who has all of the power, and then a dummy is a member of the voting body who has none of the power. Now, there are people that are in between this. Just because you don't have a lot of power does not mean that you are a dummy. Dummy is strictly that you have no power. Okay, so let's look at this first example here. In a student government, each grade has a certain number of students. So proportionally, they're going to have a number of representatives that are based upon sophomores being 5, juniors 3, and seniors 3. So we already allotted that, okay? So this allotment answers this question right here. And then who has the most power? What do you think? I think it's obvious that the sophomores have more power. I think you'd write that. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what happens. And so John Bonhoff, he created the power index to try to look at this because he was a lawyer who figured out that certain counties had all the power, even though, or certain cities had all the power in a county, even though some of the counties had, they seemed like they had a little bit of power, but they were actually dummies. Okay, so what we want to do then is take this situation where we have a 5-3-3 voting strength, and all the sophomores will vote the same, all the juniors the same, and all the seniors vote the same, and try to figure out what power they have. So the first thing you do is find out what the majority is. So if you look at the total number of votes, it's 11. So 11 means that we're going to have 6 would be the majority. Sometimes it is just over half. Other times they'll tell you what the majority would be. But in this case, it would be 6. List all of the winning coalitions and their total votes. So what happens is that if I just take the sophomores, are the sophomores going to win by themselves? No. So that's not a winning coalition. What if I put the sophomores and juniors together? Yes, that would win because that would be 8 votes. So I'm going to write that down. I have sophomores and I have juniors together with 8 votes, which beats this 6. And so that would be a winning coalition. What are the other ways we can win? How about sophomores and seniors? Same thing. And what about juniors and seniors? That gives us 6. Does that win? Yep, that wins. What about if we had all 3? Sophomores, juniors, and seniors. That would be what we consider a winning coalition. That would be 11 votes. That would be all of them. So what happens is that you try to, and this is kind of like alliances in what's not Amazing Race, but the other thing. And you make alliances and you try to figure out who you can work with to get the winning coalition. Well, the sophomores and juniors and so on, we look at that. Now, the next thing we do is we want to find the power index. We want to decide which coalition they're in and see if they are important to that winning coalition. So in other words, if you take that particular group out, does that coalition still win? So for instance, if I look at the sophomores right here, if I take them out of this coalition still would win. So the sophomores do not have any power in this coalition, so they would not get a point. So I numbered these, each one of these coalitions, and I have them here, and we're going to decide in each one of these coalitions, does somebody get a point? So if I look at this first one, if I just look at the sophomores, if I take the sophomores out of here, is this a winning coalition anymore? And the answer would be definitely no. So the sophomores hold some power there. If they tell the juniors, no, we're going to leave you, the juniors are going to, no. That's because the sophomores have some power. If you look at the second one, same exact situation, sophomores will have power. The third one, sophomores aren't in, so that's a 0. And then the fourth one, sophomores are in there, but do they have power? If you take the sophomores out of here, the juniors and seniors will win, so they don't need those sophomores. So you would get 0 points here. Now if we do the juniors and go here, do the juniors have any power here? Yes, if they leave the sophomores, this is not a winning coalition anymore, so the juniors would get a point. The next one, they're not in, so they don't get any points. And then the next one, they are in. If they leave this one, that coalition doesn't win. And then the fourth one would be just the juniors don't matter. So that would be 0 as well. Try the seniors and see how that turns out. So the seniors don't have any power here. They aren't even there. They do have some power there. If you take them out, that won't win. They take them out there, so they get 1 point, 1 point. And then this last one, they don't get a point. Nobody got a point there. So if you total these up, this would be 2, 2, 2. So, oh, look at that. They all have equal power. They all carry as much power as the other one, which was interesting result. You might have thought, what? Those sophomores get 5 votes? That's too many. No, it turns out that it's exactly the same. So actually we conned the sophomores thinking that they had more power, but they did not. So the power is all the same. Okay, now what happens is that if we change this a little bit, let's see if the power gets rearranged. So example 2 here says that we have 10 seniors that are graduated early in the second half of the year. And this changed the number of reps from sophomores being 5 to juniors being 3. And now the seniors have 2. This got cut off here. So the seniors only have 2 because they have 10 less people. So we want to calculate the power indices of each other. You might want to pause this and go ahead and see if you can do this on your own, and then we'll check you. So when we list this out now, we have sophomores, juniors being 8. That's a winning coalition. Sophomores, seniors being 7. Juniors, seniors, oh, this isn't 6 anymore. This is a 5. Oh, does that pull us for the majority? No, they cannot win with just 5 votes. So this is not a winning coalition anymore. So we're not writing that one out. The only coalitions that we have winning are these 3. So now if we do the power index, we're just working off 1, 2, and 3. So the sophomores have power. Now do they have power here? If you take 5 votes away from here, does this win anymore? Wait a second, it doesn't. So the sophomores get power in all 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. How about the juniors? The juniors have power here, so they get 1. And then the seniors have power here, so they get 1. And then the third one, the juniors don't have power and the seniors don't have power. So they get a 0 for all these other pieces. So we end up with a 3, 1, 1. So the sophomores now, just because of a slight change, have an incredible amount of power as to what they used to have. The juniors and seniors cannot win together anymore. And that changes the whole balance of power. So now the sophomores ended up with more power just based upon a slight little change. Now the question is was this surprising? I don't know if that was surprising to you or not, but we can talk about this more in class. And that's how you calculate the power index. Write out all the winning coalitions and then see if each entity within those coalitions have power or not. Having power means that if you remove them, the coalition does not win anymore. All right, thank you very much. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this.